My fiancée used my razor to slice open one of her sanitary pads. She then stuffed 3 of my hairs inside, sealed it shut with super glue, and secretly slipped it into my briefcase. Immediately after, she dialed 911 and told the police I had sexually assaulted her at home. The sanitary pad in my briefcase, she claimed, was the proof. And just like that, I was locked away for 10 years. 10 years later, on the day of my release, she came to get me. I could have sworn I saw a flicker of pity in her eyes. I couldn't help but laugh. Chloe, don't put on such a loving act. It only serves as a constant reminder that you're the one who personally sent me to the place that held me captive for a decade. These scars on my body, are you telling me you don't know about them? Weren't you the ones who told them to take good care of me? I spat out the words "take good care" with venom. Her expression froze instantly. 10 years, and she hadn't changed a bit, still radiating that same air of arrogance. My harsh tone made her face turn cold. I don't know what you're talking about. Just get in the car. She instinctively moved to block the front passenger door, as if she was afraid I'd try to sit there. I gave a bitter smile and got into the back. In the rearview mirror, my own reflection looked gaunt and withered, with sunken eyes and a deathly pale complexion. I know you must have suffered a great deal these past 10 years, but don't worry, I'll keep my promise. We'll get married, she said, turning to look at me, her hand reaching for mine, which was covered in scars. The sight of the shocking wounds brought another flicker of guilt to her eyes. Ethan, once your hands have healed, you can start playing the piano again. Whatever you want to do from now on, I'll be there with you. I calmly withdrew my hand without a word. The drive from the psychiatric facility on the outskirts of Chicago to the Hayes family estate was nearly 2 hours. The warmth inside the car made me drowsy, but Chloe wasn't about to let me rest. My cold silence seemed to unnerve her, so she broke it. Ethan, your parents didn't come to get you today because your brother, Liam, has a very important piano competition. I don't want to hear it. I cut her off, annoyed. Fine, she replied. I closed my eyes, having no desire to speak with her further. An eerie silence filled the car, but my mind was anything but quiet, trapped again in its familiar cage of torment. Did you hear that, Ethan? In your parents' eyes, their adopted son, the one who shares no blood with them, will always be more important than you, their actual son. So what if you were locked away and tortured in a psychiatric hospital for 10 years? They still don't love you. A simple piano competition is more important than the day you finally come home. Wake up, Ethan, and stop being a fool. Your family, your fiancé, none of them love you. It was true. None of them loved me. Over 10 years of countless breakdowns, I had come to see them for who they truly were. And so, I stopped loving them too. As for Chloe, I didn't want her anymore either. There would never be a wedding for us. A chorus of voices in my head reminded me that not a single one of these people deserved forgiveness. Those same voices forced me to relive the agony of my past. Ethan, apart from sharing the Hayes surname, your only connection to that family is a laughable thread of blood. When you were 3, their terminally ill nanny lost you. To atone, she threw herself from a building, leaving her own son, your age, for your parents to raise. All these years, that woman's son has lived your life, basking in the love that should have been yours. You were passed from one trafficker to another, suffering endless abuse. You finally survived long enough to be found by the Hayes family, but your ordeal didn't end. It only got worse. You found that everyone doted on him, that you had to defer to him in everything. Even when he was the one who committed a crime, you were the one labeled mentally ill and forced to take the fall. Compared to their precious adopted son, you will never earn their love. Even after 10 years of torment, they feel no pity for you. Stop hoping, Ethan. They will only disappoint you again and again. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms, the sharp pain a welcome distraction from the voices in my head, but the dull ache in my chest refused to fade. A maid was waiting for us, and as we approached, she came forward to offer a respectful greeting. The respect, however, was directed solely at Chloe. Miss Sterling, Mr. Liam asked that you come see his competition as soon as you returned. He said he'll be waiting at the venue until you arrive. Chloe nodded and turned to leave without a second thought. Then, as if suddenly remembering me, she paused and looked at me for a long moment. You just got back. You should get some rest. I'll come see you another day. With that, she hurried away. She didn't even pause when the maid's voice, dripping with contempt, called out behind me. Sir, Mrs. Hayes specifically requested that you don't track your filth into the house. She said it's for your own good, so please don't be ungrateful. Oh, and Mr. Hayes said you're to stay in the house from now on. Don't go wandering off and embarrassing the Hayes family name. Filth? An embarrassment? So Liam getting drunk and raping an innocent girl wasn't an embarrassment? That didn't tarnish the family name? I was the one who took the fall for him, yet I was the filth, but I was used to their attitude. I felt no expectation, no joy, no sorrow. I silently walked past her and down into the suffocatingly oppressive basement. "We've kept your place for you all these years, sir," the maid called after me. "None of us servants have ever set foot in there, let alone the family. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes haven't arranged another room for you, so I suppose you'll just have to keep staying in the basement you were in for 5 years." After a few more taunts, she turned and left. I stared blankly at the dilapidated space. From the time I was found at 14 until I was sent away at 23, this place was a home in name only. It held none of a home's warmth. Even the bridge underpass I slept under as a runaway had offered a greater sense of belonging. I drifted into a restless sleep, the old injuries on my body beginning to ache. I dreamt I was newly returned to the Hayes family. My parents doted on Liam and my sister, Olivia, while I was met with either indifference or dismissiveness. Even I could tell they didn't love me, so of course the staff knew it too. The maids, the butler, even the gardeners felt free to insult me. But Chloe, she appeared one day just as they were tossing me a carton of expired milk, and she stood up for me. We were the same age, but she carried herself with a cool confidence. She flew into a rage and had the staff punished. "Ethan, don't be afraid," she told me then. "This is your home. We're engaged to be married one day. You have to be brave and get strong, so no one can push you around anymore." She was the first warmth in my bleak existence. When I woke, even the memory of that warmth was gone. I realized, unconsciously, that I was crying. I wiped my tears and curled up, staring into the darkness of the basement. It was damp and cold, without a single ray of light. I thought of Chloe again. She used to be the first one to stand up for me, but now, for the first time, I felt the urge to just leave this place. Just then, I heard noises from upstairs. I crept to the basement door and heard my family talking about me in the living room. "Mom, Dad, is Ethan really my brother? Are you sure that paternity test you did wasn't wrong? How could I have such a rude brother? It's his fault Liam was distracted today and didn't pass his piano competition. Thank goodness Chloe was there to cheer him up, otherwise he would have been devastated. Liam prepared for this competition for so long. Couldn't Ethan have come home any other day? Did he have to pick today? And making Chloe go get him, I just can't with him." My father sighed. "Olivia, spend some more time with Liam these next few days. You know how he gets in his own head. Try to keep his spirits up." My mother looked equally troubled. "I'm just so worried about Ethan. He's back with that same look on his face, like the world owes him something, and he's always targeting Liam. Now that he's back, living under the same roof, I'm terrified Liam's heart condition will act up again." I clenched my fists, a bitter, self-mocking feeling washing over me. My release date was set 10 years ago. How was it my fault that it coincided with Liam's competition? And another thing, my father added, his voice laced with irritation. "He comes home and doesn't even have the decency to greet his parents. What does he expect? For us to go down there and check on him?" Hearing that, I turned and retreated into the basement. It was best never to expect anything from them. They would only ever let you down. I found the confidential file in my email and read it carefully. As I prepared to sign electronically, an automated voice prompt played. "Mr. Hayes, please consider your decision carefully before signing. This agreement will take effect within 7 days. Should you sign and accept this assignment, your identity will be erased for the next 10 years. All your movements will be classified, and you will be forbidden from any contact with the outside world for the duration of the mission." I hit the confirm button and signed my name. A new message appeared on the screen. "Congratulations. You are now a member of the U.S. Geological Survey. Please prepare yourself. In 7 days, a technician will provide you with a new identity and escort you to Livingston Island for your assignment." 7 days. It was enough time to say a final goodbye to the first half of my life. I had waited 10 long years for this day. In that moment, my eyes stung with tears as I envisioned a future that was finally bright and full of promise. I had been accepted into the USGS 10 years ago, but that incident cost me a decade of my life. Still, it wasn't too late. The next morning, as I was heading out for breakfast, I ran right into Chloe and Liam. They were laughing together, but their smiles froze the moment they saw me. I ignored them and tried to walk past, but Chloe grabbed my arm. "Ethan, where are you going? Are you misunderstanding something?" Liam looked at me, his face a mask of apology, his voice laced with a pathetic, innocent whine. "Ethan, please don't get the wrong idea. I didn't come home last night because I was with Chloe, but I swear, nothing happened. I was just feeling down, and Chloe was kind enough to stay out with me to cheer me up. Standing this close, I could smell the same fresh scent of body wash on both of them." "Are you done?" I asked flatly. "If so, please get out of my way." Chloe just stared at me, confused. Instead of moving, Liam grabbed my arm with feigned intimacy. Mom and Dad are cooking today to make up for my disappointment yesterday. You should join us. Their cooking is amazing. He didn't wait for an answer, simply dragging me toward the living room. I had to fight the urge to shove him away. Chloe followed close behind. As we entered, I saw my parents and my pampered sister, Olivia, bustling around the kitchen. Looks like Liam and Chloe are back from their little date. I wonder if anything. Olivia's words died in her throat when she saw me. She shot me a glare and muttered under her breath, "So rude. Doesn't even say hello. He has no manners at all." Just then, my parents came out carrying platters of food. The smiles on their faces vanished when they saw me, as if I were an unwelcome intruder. Finally, my father forced a greeting. "Well, what are you all standing around for? Sit down before the food gets cold." Liam hugged my mother, his face beaming with happiness. "Thank you, Mom. You and Dad are the best." They both looked at him with such affection. In that moment, I felt like a complete stranger who had stumbled into their perfect, happy home. The table was laden with seafood, all of it looking delicious. Everyone smiled lovingly at Liam. Not a single one of them remembered I was allergic to shellfish. Seeing me frozen in place, Liam put on a show of concern. "What are you just standing there for, Ethan? Come on, sit down. Don't you like what Mom and Dad made? Or are you still upset that they came to my competition yesterday instead of picking you up?" "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I had no idea the competition would fall on your release day. It's all my fault for ruining your big day." The expressions on my parents' and Olivia's faces shifted from mild annoyance to outright blame. But I hadn't said a word. Chloe stood and pulled me toward a chair. "Liam, don't worry. Your brother isn't the petty type. He won't hold it against you." As Chloe sat next to me, about to serve me some food, Liam suddenly stood up and stepped between us. He took Chloe's hand right in front of me, his voice a provocative challenge. "Really? You're really so magnanimous you won't hold a grudge? In that case, why don't you let me have your engagement to Chloe?" The genuine seriousness in his tone stunned everyone into silence. As they all turned to look at me, I couldn't help a bitter smile. My heart filled once more with that familiar, crushing self-pity. If I had been the one to make such a request, how would they have reacted? They would have called me shameless for trying to steal my brother's fiancée. They would have pointed and screamed, calling me disgusting for being so competitive, for not acting like a proper older brother. But now that the one shamelessly bearing his soul was their beloved adopted son, they were all silent, waiting nervously for my response. I looked at the absurd scene and let out a cold laugh. "Liam, is there anything of mine you don't want to take for yourself?" I turned to the others. "And what about you? As my family, do you also want me to just nod and let him have his way?" The room fell into a dead silence. Or rather, they used French to build a wall around me, leaving me completely isolated. Liam turned to them, speaking in French, his voice full of feigned distress. "Oh, what have I done? I've said the wrong thing again. I always seem to upset Ethan by accident. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just trying to break the tension. I can't believe he took my joke so seriously. How are we ever going to get along? I never wanted to take anything from him. Maybe it would be better for everyone if I just disappeared." Before he could finish, my father cut him off, also in French. "Don't be ridiculous. This is your home. We are your family, and we love you more than anything. Don't you ever think like that again." My mother went to his side, taking his hand. "Oh, Liam, you've always been too considerate. From now on, don't worry about what Ethan thinks. Don't be sad. He's become so difficult over the years, so petty and resentful. Your father and I couldn't bring ourselves to like him even if we tried." Olivia shot me a glare and added in French, assuming I wouldn't understand, "In our eyes, you're our family. You're the only brother I'll ever have. I will never, ever call that uncultured person my brother." As they continued their conversation in French, Chloe kept glancing at me, looking like she wanted to say something but holding back. She looked pale and conflicted. I turned to her, feigning ignorance. "Chloe, what are they saying? I don't understand." She wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's nothing," she said dismissively. "They're just telling Liam not to make jokes like that anymore." How pathetic. They were all trying to protect him from me, but the joke was on them. I understood every single word. Every word they spoke was a sharp knife twisting in my gut. No matter how many times I told myself to let it go, the pain was still there. I couldn't stand to be there a moment longer, listening to them tear me apart, so I stood up. "I think I'll go for a walk," I said, making my excuse. "You all enjoy your meal." I walked out without a backward glance. I could hear their complaints starting up again in French, all of it dripping with resentment for me. "He makes me so angry," my mother lamented. "I carried him for 9 months, and for what? I slave away to cook this huge meal, And not only is he ungrateful, he acts like he couldn't care less. It's just heartbreaking. Don't be upset, Mom, Olivia said. It's better that he's not eating with us. That scar on his face just ruins my appetite. Appreciate it? How was I supposed to appreciate any of this? They were my biological parents. I had told them I was allergic to shellfish, but they never remembered. In their eyes, there was only Liam, obedient, sensible, and always wearing that innocent expression. I was suddenly thrown back to my first few days in this house. Liam had come to me, all smiles, asking what foods I liked and if I had any allergies. I told him I was allergic to shellfish. At the welcome dinner they threw for me, the table was covered in it. I knew then that my so-called brother was not happy to have me home. He put a large crab on my plate, his face a picture of eager anticipation. I hesitated for just a second, and my father snapped at me. What are you waiting for? Liam served you that crab himself. You will eat it. Don't you dare disrespect his kindness. I tried to explain carefully. Dad, I'm allergic to shellfish. I can't eat it. Liam feigned shock, looking at me and whispering, How can that be? You're allergic? But why did you tell me it was your favorite food? I even steamed this crab for you myself. He held up his hand, showing off a small blister, clearly a burn from the steamer. My mother's face instantly hardened. She pulled Liam to her side protectively, her voice sharp. That is enough, Ethan. I don't care what kind of manipulative games you played out there, but now that you are in this house, you will get along with your brother and sister. If I ever catch you lying to frame your brother again, don't blame me for disowning you. Olivia pointed at the crab on my plate. You villain, Ethan. You have to eat it. My brother burned his hand making that for you. If you don't eat it, I'll hate you forever. With all of them glaring at me, I choked down the crab, my heart filled with despair. It wasn't until the hives broke out all over my body, my breathing grew ragged, and my face turned white as I struggled for air, that their expressions changed. They stared at me with even greater disgust. He's actually allergic. Butler, what are you standing there for? Call 911. Honey, how is this possible? My mother wondered aloud. Neither of us has allergies. How could our son be allergic? The allergy isn't the point, my father replied. The point is he just got here and he's already this malicious. How am I supposed to ever treat him like a son after this? They all stared at me, their eyes filled with annoyance, not a hint of concern or worry. A stranger would have shown more compassion. Instead, the three of them gathered around Liam, comforting him. Liam, don't you worry, my mother cooed. His allergy is his own fault. If he hadn't been so malicious as to try and frame you, he wouldn't be suffering now. I can still feel the helplessness and despair of that moment. I was in the hospital for a week because of the reaction. Not one of them came to visit. Besides Chloe, who would stop by after school each day, it felt like the entire world had rejected me. I broke down over and over again, unable to understand why the family I had dreamed of for so long treated me this way, why they refused to believe me. The only person who showed me any trust was Chloe, though it wasn't really trust. She just tried to comfort me. Let's just put it behind us, she'd said. Don't dwell on it. Just focus on getting better so you can go back to school. I believe you weren't lying. Hearing her say, I believe you, brought tears to my eyes. Back then, Chloe was like a ray of sunshine in my dark, cold world. I was completely captivated by her, desperate to be near her. For all these years, I chose to ignore the second half of her sentence. But I believe Liam too. I grew up with him, I know what kind of person he is. I'm sure he just misheard you. I hope you won't hold it against him. Looking back, her belief in me was just a casual platitude. But I clung to it for so long. They all loved only Liam, and they would always, unconditionally, take his side. They had all seen me nearly suffocate from an allergic reaction, yet none of them remembered. Not that they would have cared even if they did. And now, I no longer needed them to. Just 7 more days, and I would be gone from this place forever. I went back to the basement and picked up my guitar. It was once my most prized possession, but 10 years in the damp had warped the wood and damaged its sound. It would cost a fortune to have it properly restored. It was ironic. The Hayes family was worth hundreds of millions, yet I, their son, couldn't scrape together even $100. I took the guitar to a shop on the Magnificent Mile. The luthier told me a full restoration would cost over $2,000. For me, that was an astronomical sum. My only option was to find some part-time work to earn the money. I wanted to fix this guitar. It was the one thing I still felt any attachment to. I found a gig playing at a busy downtown bar, working until 3 in the morning. When I finally checked my phone, I saw dozens of missed calls and texts from Chloe, all asking where I was. I didn't understand what was going on, but I texted back, "What's up?" She must have been waiting for my reply, because she called me instantly. Ethan, where are you? Give me your location, I'll come get you. I need to talk to you. I told her where I was. Less than 10 minutes later, her Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up to the curb. She looked at me, her expression a mixture of anxiety and confusion. Ethan, who were you at the bar with? I don't remember you having any friends. A bitter smile touched my lips. She was right. I had nothing. No family, not a single friend. I didn't answer her question, but she didn't seem to mind. Just as she was about to speak again, my stomach rumbled loudly. She pulled me into the car, her voice soft. Ethan, let's go to that little restaurant you used to love. I wasn't about to argue with a hungry stomach, so I just nodded. At 3 in the morning, the city was still alive with light and activity. For the wealthy, there was no difference between day and night. The restaurant was a small place in Old Town, nothing like the fancy establishments downtown. I'd worked there part-time in high school. It wasn't my favorite, but I had once saved up a month's wages to take Chloe there for dinner. No wonder she remembered it. She froze while ordering, then hesitated before handing the menu to me. Trying to break the awkward silence, she started talking. For a second, her words almost touched me, but the feeling was fleeting. Ethan, I know you don't eat seafood, so let's consider this my official welcome home dinner for you. And about today, please don't take it to heart. It's not that they forgot, it just slipped their minds. Liam loves seafood, and the meal was really for him to cheer him up. So it's understandable that your parents weren't as considerate as they could have been. Don't be too. I cut her off with a frown. Can we please just eat in peace? I don't want to talk about it. She fell silent, her expression grim. We ate the rest of our meal without another word. Chloe had always been proud and beautiful, radiating a kind of dazzling light. I remember when I was first brought back to the Hayes estate, she introduced herself with such grace. Hello, Ethan. I'm Chloe Sterling. I'm your fiancée. The Hayes and the Sterlings are old family friends. Our engagement was arranged when we were born. She was the first person to show me any kindness, the first warmth I had felt in years. My parents were titans of industry, powerful figures in the business world. From the moment I was found, they looked down on me. I didn't have the polish they expected. They despised my timid nature, my lack of Liam's easy charm. It didn't matter how well I did in school. Even getting into an Ivy League university meant less to them than Liam getting a B on a test. Because my parents ignored me and Liam constantly undermined me, I was humiliated by the staff at home and bullied by my classmates at school. And every time, Chloe would be the one to stand up for me, to put the bullies in their place. Open your eyes and look carefully, she would tell them, her voice sharp. Ethan is the true son of the Hayes family, and he is my future husband. He is not someone that trash like you can push around. She would tutor me, bring me snacks, and give me a gift on every holiday. The guitar I carried was her graduation present to me. You never forget the kindness shown to you when you're at your lowest. That's how I felt about Chloe. She was my first love, the girl I dreamed of building a future with. My disappointment in the Hayes family was absolute, but I stayed, holding on to the hope of our engagement. But now I wanted none of it. I ate quickly. She barely touched her food, having apparently eaten earlier. She just watched me, a small smile on her lips. It was the same smile I remembered, but it no longer held any comfort, any warmth. On the drive back, she watched me in the rearview mirror, clutching my guitar. You really love that guitar, don't you? She asked. I remember you loved the piano, too. You looked so handsome when you played. Why don't I buy you a piano? As a gift to celebrate your freedom. The knife in my chest twisted again. No, thank you, I said calmly. Guitar, piano, I don't want any of it. In 5 days, I'll be leaving this place for good. I'll have no use for them. Besides, I don't want to be a bother. The car fell silent again. Her expression was complicated, and she kept glancing at me in the rearview mirror, looking like she wanted to say something. I wasn't the least bit curious about what was on her mind. Instead, I found myself wondering if she had felt even a single pang of guilt when she arranged to have me locked away, stealing 10 years of my life. When we arrived at the Hayes estate, she got out of the car with me and pulled a bag from the trunk. Ethan, this is some cream for your scars. I know you always cared about your appearance, so over the past 10 years, I've consulted with a lot of specialists. This ointment was custom-made from a formula they gave me. You should try it. I'm sure it will work. When your face has healed, will you marry me? I want to be your beautiful bride. Before she could finish, her phone rang, the shrill tone cutting through the night. I saw the name Liam on the screen. She rejected the call, but as a series of iMessage notifications buzzed relentlessly, her eyes were drawn to the screen. I didn't wait for her to say more. I just turned and walked away. Later, as I sat in the basement, staring at my guitar, a text from her came through. Ethan, I'm so sorry. Liam needed my help with something for work, and I got distracted. Please forgive me. get some sleep, and don't forget to use the cream. I didn't reply. My sleep was fitful that night. I dreamt of the year Chloe was diagnosed with leukemia. When they found out I was a match, I agreed to the bone marrow transplant without a second thought. But as I recovered, I noticed that she and Liam were growing closer. I had thought my sacrifice would bring us together, but instead, it was the beginning of the end. We drifted apart, and her attention shifted more and more to him. I woke up feeling as alone as ever, a child abandoned by the world. I pulled myself together and headed out to rent a guitar for my gig. As I crossed the yard, I heard laughter coming from the living room, and for a moment, I felt a strange sense of dislocation. Chloe was holding a fluffy white cat, chatting and laughing with Liam. I watched the scene, a strange sense of calm settling over me. I didn't linger. I just turned and walked away. I used the money I'd earned the night before to rent a guitar and buy a mask. Then I went to a busy plaza downtown to busk. In a city this big, there were plenty of street musicians, so I didn't feel out of place. There was a large shopping mall across the street. I played for most of the morning, taking requests from young couples who wanted to hear love songs. I never expected to run into anyone I knew, let alone my own sister. "Ethan, are you insane?" she shrieked, storming toward me in her high heels. "Who gave you permission to beg on the street like this? Have you no shame? What about the Hayes family's reputation?" When I offered her my list of songs, she stomped on it furiously and started screaming at me. I calmly picked up the song list and looked at her, my face a blank mask. There's no shame in earning an honest living. That only made her angrier. She stared at me in disbelief, as if I'd told a terrible joke. "Ethan, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Trying to get our attention? Earning money? You're a Hayes. You don't need money." She found the idea of me working for money laughable. I found her words deeply ironic. A Hayes might not need money, but who in that family had ever treated me like one? "Please move," I said. "You're disturbing my work." Olivia stared at me, her eyes filled with disgust and impatience. "Ethan, just wait until I tell Mom and Dad about this. You're going to give them a heart attack. Can't you do anything respectable? Why are you always so jealous of Liam? Who could possibly love someone like you?" She was screaming now, and she raised her hand to slap me. I caught her wrist, but in the scuffle, my mask fell to the ground. She stared at the scar on my face, and a flicker of some unreadable emotion crossed her features. Her voice was still harsh, but there was an undercurrent of something that almost sounded like concern. "Ethan, look at your face. That scar. It's hideous. Instead of wasting your time here, you should go to a hospital and get it looked at. Just go home. I don't want to fight with you." As I picked up my mask and put it back on, she stared at me, her expression a mixture of conflicting emotions. "Ethan, don't think I'm grateful to you just because you got hurt saving me. You deserved to be disfigured. I never asked you to save me. You should have just minded your own business." Just then, Chloe and Liam emerged from the mall, heading in our direction. Liam was carrying a drink and a bag of popcorn. It looked like they were on their way to a movie. I didn't want to be there a second longer. I packed up my things and left. I could hear Olivia's furious voice behind me. "You bastard, Ethan. I'm talking to you. How dare you ignore me? With an attitude like that, you can forget about me ever calling you my brother." Brother? I had stopped caring about that title a long time ago. When I first came back to the Hayes family, I had genuinely wanted to connect with my sister. I was so envious every time I heard her call Liam brother, but she never gave me the time of day. No matter what I did, she only ever looked at me with disgust. "Stay away from me, Ethan," she used to say. "You're toxic. How could you possibly be my brother? Don't ever expect me to call you that." Now she was disgusted by the scar on my face, but she seemed to have forgotten that I got that scar shielding her in a car accident. She probably never considered that if I hadn't been there, that hideous scar would be on her face instead of mine. It happened the second year after I was found. I was still trying so hard back then, doing everything I could to fit in, to please them, to be perfect. When the car crashed, I threw myself in front of her, taking the brunt of the impact. She was completely unscathed. The first thing she did was check on Liam. "Are you okay?" she cried. "You scared me to death. Are you hurt?" As for me, her actual brother, bleeding from a dozen cuts, a deep gash across my face from the shattered windshield, she didn't even spare me a glance. I knew then that no matter what I did, Liam would always be her only brother. I had tried my best. I wouldn't beg for their love anymore. I spent my days busking in the plaza and my nights playing at the bar. After 4 days, I finally had enough money to get my guitar fixed. I was on my way to the music shop when I got a text from Chloe, asking me to come back to the house. She said she needed to talk to me. Since I was leaving in 2 days anyway, I decided to go back. When I got to the house, my parents were there, their expressions unreadable but clearly displeased. Olivia shot me a hateful glare, then turned her back on me with a contemptuous snort. Chloe was there too, with two other people who looked like they'd been waiting for a while. She had been texting me for the past 2 days, but I hadn't replied. We had nothing left to say to each other, and besides, I was busy. I had no idea what she was up to. As I looked at her, she ran over, a bright smile on her face, and took my arm. "Ethan, look," she said, her voice soft. "I designed our wedding rings myself. Aren't they beautiful?" As she spoke, one of the people with her brought up a 3D model of the design on a tablet. I was taken aback. The rings were beautiful, an intricate interlocking design. Someone had clearly put a lot of thought into them. "Ethan, what are you waiting for? Do you like them? I've had this design for a couple of years now. I wanted to surprise you when you got out. Let's have them measure our fingers so we can have them made. Then our families can get together in the next few days and set a date for the engagement." Her eyes were soft, full of hope for our future. Meanwhile, my parents' expressions grew darker by the second. Olivia glared at me and muttered, "If you get engaged to him, what's going to happen to Liam?" Chloe froze, a flicker of discomfort on her face. But she quickly recovered, frowning at Olivia. "Don't be ridiculous, Olivia. Your brother is my fiancé." As Olivia continued to glare daggers at me, I held out my hand to be measured. Chloe seemed to relax, and she stood beside me to have her own finger measured. But Olivia, unwilling to give up, rushed forward. "Are you sure about this? Liam is in love with you. If you marry this person, he'll be heartbroken. He donated his bone marrow for you. He would do anything for you." "Bone marrow? But I was the one who donated my bone marrow." Chloe hesitated again, but then she looked at me and said firmly, "Liam and I are just friends." The words were barely out of her mouth when Liam appeared on the third-floor landing, looking utterly distraught. He was holding a fruit knife to his throat. "Mom, Dad, Olivia, I'm so sorry," he cried, his voice choked with anguish. "My heart is breaking. I couldn't help falling in love with Chloe, but I wish her and Ethan all the happiness in the world. Goodbye, my love, my family. I won't be a burden to you any longer." The moment he spoke, everyone in the room forgot I existed and scrambled up the stairs. The knife was small, and with 3 people wrestling with him, he only managed a shallow, non-fatal cut on his neck. Still, the incident was enough to throw the entire household into chaos for the rest of the night. I spent another night curled up in my basement, listening to my mother's anguished sobs and the wail of an ambulance siren. The next morning, I took the money I'd saved and my guitar and headed for the music shop. It was my birthday, and restoring the guitar would be my gift to myself. As I was leaving, Olivia blocked my path, her finger pointed at my face. "You're a curse, Ethan," she screamed. "We haven't had a moment's peace since you came back. Yesterday you drove Liam to try and kill himself. Are you happy now? Today is Liam's birthday. If you have any shred of decency, you'll stop messing around, come home early, buy him a present, and apologize to him tonight." I looked at her, seething with rage, and couldn't help but feel the bitter irony of it all. My own sister, forcing me to apologize to the boy who wasn't even her real brother. She called Liam brother with such affection, but she always used my full name. Thankfully, this would be the last time I'd have to deal with her. Tomorrow night I would be gone, and I would never have anything to do with any of them again. "Why should I apologize to him?" I asked. "You can't call that scratch a suicide attempt. It probably stopped bleeding before he even got to the hospital. And besides, I don't believe I did anything wrong." As I walked past her, she flew into a rage, screaming at my back. "You bastard, Ethan. You're the most cold-hearted person I've ever met. You don't deserve to be a Hayes. I actually felt sorry for you this morning, but now I see you deserve to be alone. You deserve to have even Chloe abandon you." I paused for a moment, listening to her words. I felt a flicker of bitterness, but nothing more. Let her say what she wanted. I already knew they didn't love me. Her words couldn't hurt me anymore. Love didn't matter anymore. I spent the morning at the music shop, took almost all the money I had, but the guitar was as good as new. I treated myself to a meal at the little restaurant in Old Town, then walked for a long time through streets decorated for Christmas. My phone buzzed incessantly. I glanced at the screen, but felt no urge to reply. It was my parents, telling me to come home for their precious son's birthday party, and Olivia demanding I buy Liam a gift and apologize. Even Chloe had sent several texts. "Ethan, where are you? Please come back to the house. I need to talk to you." I thought for a moment, then replied, "Chloe, if you're trying to get me to come to Liam's birthday party, don't waste your breath. I won't be wishing him a happy birthday. And if you're going to ask me to apologize, you can forget that too." The winter felt especially cold this year. The wind cut right through me, making me shiver. The streets were full of couples, holding hands, kissing, their happiness punctuated by the fireworks bursting in the sky. In a daze, my mind drifted back to the years when Chloe and I were closest. My birthday is on Christmas Eve, and for a couple of years, she was always there to celebrate with me. I remember one year she was out of the country, but she called to wish me a happy birthday and promised to bring me back a present. I was so touched. She was the only person in the world who remembered my birthday, the only one who ever gave me a gift. Liam and I share a birthday. Every year on this day, my parents and sister would throw a lavish party at the estate, spending weeks picking out the perfect gifts, all to give Liam an unforgettable birthday. My own family, on the other hand, had long since forgotten my birthday. Or maybe they never even knew it, or perhaps they did know, and when forced to choose, they always chose him. But that one year, Chloe had rushed back. She flew all the way back from a trip just to be with me on my birthday. We walked hand in hand through the city, rode the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier, watched the fireworks, and ate cake. Now, even she had forgotten. I passed a bakery and felt a pang of longing to buy myself a slice of cake, but I kept walking. I hurried to the bar to work my last shift. As I was changing, I overheard the two guys from the house band talking. "Dude, did you hear? Chloe Sterling is getting engaged to Liam Hayes. The engagement party is tomorrow. Wow, that's sudden. You don't think all these fireworks tonight are for him, do you?" "You guessed it. I heard he had a little health scare yesterday, went to the hospital, but he's fine now. Got out today. And since it's his birthday, Miss Sterling arranged for a citywide fireworks display to celebrate. So tomorrow's sudden engagement party is probably just a big birthday surprise for him. That makes sense. Everyone in Chicago knows how devoted she is to him. I'm so jealous. 3 straight days of fireworks all over the city. The rich really can do whatever they want." A bitter taste filled my mouth, spreading through my entire body. So her talk of wedding rings yesterday, it was all just a joke? My phone started buzzing again. More calls and texts from Chloe, asking where I was. I thought for a moment, then texted back. "Happy birthday to Liam, and congratulations on your engagement tomorrow, and on your future wedding. I hope you're happy now." Then I turned off my phone, cleared my head, and went on stage. I was off my game all night, so I cut my set short. The bar wasn't too busy, so it didn't matter. When I stepped outside, snow was beginning to fall. The wind was biting, and I shivered in the cold. I slung my guitar over my shoulder and started walking toward the Chicago River. I wanted to ride the Ferris wheel one last time. I wouldn't get another chance. But my plans were interrupted by 2 familiar cars pulling up beside me. Olivia's McLaren and Chloe's Phantom. Olivia was the first one out of her car. She stormed over to me, pointing back at the bar. "You bastard, Ethan," she seethed. "You refused to come home for your brother's birthday, but you're perfectly happy wasting your time in a place like this? You always act like we're the ones who don't treat you like family, but have you ever stopped to think about how you treat us? Is it really so hard for you to celebrate Liam's birthday? He's always trying to make peace with you, but you just keep pushing him away." I was used to it. Every time Olivia saw me, she was either angry or insulting. She had never been able to stand the sight of me, but her words still dripped with a special kind of irony. In her mind, Liam was her only brother, so of course he could do no wrong. It didn't matter that he had systematically destroyed my life and taken everything that was mine. As long as Liam was around, he was the only one anyone ever saw, the only one they cared about, the only one they loved. No matter what he did, he was always the victim. No matter what I did, they never even noticed. When I didn't respond, Olivia snatched my guitar from my hands and smashed it on the pavement. "Ethan, if you hate us so much, why are you still living in our house?" I tried to stop her, but it was too late. She stomped on it again and again. Even through the case, I could feel the wood splintering, a perfect reflection of my own shattered heart. "Don't look at me like that, Ethan. Is that stupid guitar more important to you than your own family? If we mean so little to you, then just get out." "I will," I said, my voice flat, cutting her off. "I'll be gone tomorrow." I knelt and looked at the guitar. It was smashed beyond repair. I couldn't stop my eyes from burning with tears. Chloe hurried over from her car. She had heard me. She shot Olivia an annoyed look, then knelt beside me. "Ethan, don't listen to her," she said, her voice laced with anxiety. "She's just being childish. She's just angry." When a tear splashed onto the shattered guitar, Chloe panicked. She looked at me, her eyes wide with alarm, and pulled me into a hug. "Don't cry," she whispered, trying to soothe me. "Do you like this guitar? I'll buy you a new one, okay? Please don't be like this. I know it's your birthday. Let's try to be happy, okay? Look, Ethan, this is the ring I chose for you. Think of it as a birthday present. Let's go back to the house now. Your parents need to talk to you." I didn't say a word. I just calmly pushed her away and opened the case to inspect the damage. Chloe's patience seemed to wear thin. She sighed, her voice edged with frustration. Ethan, why are you being so difficult? It's bad enough that you don't respect your parents, but you won't listen to anyone. It's just a stupid guitar. Why are you acting like it's the end of the world? Olivia is your sister. Liam is your brother. They're your family. Can't you just try to get along with them? Olivia, still fuming, gave the guitar another kick. So dramatic, she sneered. I'm not going to waste my time coddling a grown man. Only Chloe is patient enough for that. I'll be in the car. Olivia stalked back to her car. Chloe's voice grew even more impatient. I'm not playing games, Ethan. Everyone is waiting for you. Can we please stop wasting time over a broken guitar? I looked down at the ruined instrument, then looked up at her with a cold smile. The impatience in her eyes sent a fresh wave of pain through me. Chloe, I asked, do you also think it's just a broken guitar? Well, isn't it? She retorted. If you want a guitar, I'll buy you as many as you want. We can go in a couple of days, you can pick out anyone you like. But right now, you need to come back to the house with me. Her tone was firm, leaving no room for argument. A suffocating bitterness filled my chest. I tossed the broken guitar into a nearby trash can and walked toward her car. She wanted me to go back to the house? Fine. I would give her what she wanted. Seeing that I had given in, Chloe caught up to me and pressed a ring box into my hand. I chose this style especially for you. I hope you like it. Her expression softened with a hint of guilt. She pulled me into a hug, her voice full of pity. You've gotten so thin. I promise, I'll make more time for you soon. We'll eat all our meals together. I don't like seeing you so thin. Ethan, promise me when we get to the house you won't get angry. You won't fight with them, please? No matter what happens, no matter what choices I have to make, you're the only one I love. Love? If I hadn't found out that she was getting engaged to Liam tomorrow, I might have actually believed her. But now, her words, set against the backdrop of the celebratory fireworks, sounded like nothing but a cruel joke. I was about to say something when the front passenger window of her car rolled down. It was Liam, his face a smug, contemptuous mask that only I could see. His voice, however, was dripping with false innocence. I'm so sorry, Ethan, he said, his voice full of fake apology. I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's getting late, and you know Mom and Dad don't like to stay up. And Chloe, don't we have a big day tomorrow? I didn't say another word. I just pushed Chloe away and got into the back of the car, my heart a block of ice. Back at the Hayes estate, my parents were waiting. The moment I walked in, my mother turned to Olivia and asked in French, "Where has he been all this time? We've all been waiting for him. He has no manners whatsoever." Olivia shot me a glare and sat down, replying in French, "Mom, Dad, you should just tell the accounting department to cut off his allowance. It's a waste of money. No matter what we do, he'll never be one of us. He's just an embarrassment to the Hayes family. I saw him busking downtown the other day, and tonight he was hanging out at some bar. He knew it was Liam's birthday. I told him this morning. He's just doing it to spite us." I couldn't stand to listen to them anymore, so I cut in, feigning ignorance. "You wanted to see me? What is it?" My mother put on a show of concern, taking my hand. "My dear boy, why are you so distant? We're your family. You should have worn a warmer coat. Your hands are like ice. It breaks my heart to see you like this." In the past, her words might have moved me to tears, but not anymore. My heart was too scarred, too numb. When I didn't respond, her smile faltered, but she pressed on. "You have to understand, Ethan. You three are all my children, and I love you all equally. But you're the oldest. You need to be more understanding of your brother and sister. Your brother has been diagnosed with severe bipolar disorder. He can't control his emotions. He's so young, we can't let this illness ruin his life. To help him through this, your father and I, along with Chloe, have made a decision. We've arranged for him and Chloe to get engaged. The ceremony is tomorrow. If you're not feeling up to it tomorrow, you can just go out for a while. If you need money, just let me know." I stood there, numb, like a block of wood, staring at the woman who was supposed to be my mother. Sometimes I wondered if she really was. How could she look at me and see nothing? For as long as I could remember, I had envied children with mothers. The idea of a mother was something sacred and beautiful to me. I had always hoped that my own mother would love me, even just a little, that we could have some semblance of a normal relationship. But she only ever disappointed me. My silence seemed to anger my father. He glared at me, his voice sharp with displeasure. He gripped his porcelain teacup so tightly I thought it might shatter in his hand. "Ethan, why are you staring at your mother like that? We are trying to discuss this with you civilly. Who do you think you are, putting on a face like that? Don't you forget, this engagement is an alliance between the Hayes and the Sterlings. Without this family, you would never have had a chance with Chloe. Olivia chimed in, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Some people are just so full of themselves. They never stop to think where they'd be without this family. Besides, Liam and Chloe have been in love for years. If he hadn't shown up and ruined everything, they would have been married long ago. This has nothing to do with him. Someone like him isn't worthy of Chloe. He's not even worth a single hair on Liam's head. That's enough, Olivia. Chloe cut in. Stop talking nonsense. Ethan is your brother. Don't make things worse. I love Ethan, that's a fact. But as she spoke, she remained standing by Liam's side, never once glancing in my direction. My parents said nothing. Perhaps they agreed with Olivia that I was just an unwanted complication. I listened to them all in silence, the irony of it all a bitter pill to swallow. I turned to Chloe and held out the ring box. Since you've already agreed to this, there was no need to ask me. I respect your decision. Since you're getting engaged to him, you should take this back. I have no use for it. Maybe you can give it to him. I'm sure he'd like it. Chloe stared at me, her eyes wide with disbelief, a flicker of hurt in their depths. Ethan, you don't want it? I nodded. No, I said, my voice steady. I don't want the ring, and I don't want you. Her eyes instantly filled with tears. She rushed to my side, grabbing my hand. Are you angry? Please believe me. I told you I love you. This engagement, it's his obsession right now. It's not real, it's just for show. I just want to help him get through this difficult time. How ironic. She was engaged to another man, but still trying to string me along with declarations of love. I pulled my hand away and put the ring box back in her palm. Before I could say anything, she opened it, her expression pleading. Ethan, this ring was made just for you. The style is perfect for you. Please just wait for me. Just give me a little time. Just then, Liam stepped between us. He held out his hand, showing me a ring already on his finger. Ethan, please, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Please take Chloe's ring. I'll feel too guilty to wear mine if you don't. If you're upset, it will ruin the whole day for me tomorrow, and it's supposed to be a happy occasion. When he saw that I was just staring calmly at the ring on his finger, not screaming or flying into a rage, Liam seemed displeased. His demeanor shifted in an instant. He started pulling at his hair, his voice rising to a frantic pitch. It's all my fault. I'm the one who doesn't belong here. If you don't want this, then fine. Don't worry about my feelings. Seeing Liam in such distress, Chloe's heart went out to him. The ring box fell from her hand, forgotten. Like all the others, she rushed to his side, taking his arm and speaking to him in a soft, soothing voice. Liam, don't do this. Don't hurt yourself. The engagement party is still on for tomorrow. I promised you, and I'll keep my promise. Olivia pointed at me, her face contorted with rage. Get out, Ethan. You've done nothing but cause trouble since the day you got here. So what if you were the one engaged to Chloe? This is a matter of life and death. Why can't you just step aside for Liam? Do we all have to get on our knees and beg you? And have you looked in a mirror lately? With that hideous scar on your face, if you were the one getting engaged to Chloe, you wouldn't just be embarrassing the Hayes family, you'd be embarrassing the Sterlings too. Such noble sentiments. From the day I was found, my family, my own flesh and blood, had been telling me to step aside. My bedroom had been given to Liam long before I arrived. My parents, disgusted by my timid demeanor, had barely looked at me before saying, just let your brother keep your room for now. First it was my room, then it was everything else, big and small. Even when Liam got drunk and raped a girl, I, the older brother, was expected to step aside and take the fall for him. I'll never forget it. When I refused, my mother held a bottle of pills to her lips, tears streaming down her face. Liam is the child I have cherished all these years, she sobbed. How can I let his future be destroyed? Can't you, as his brother, help him just this once? He's always been such a good boy, and he has such a bright future ahead of him. We can't let it all be ruined. And you know his health is delicate. How could we let him go through something like this alone? You won't have to go to prison. You just have to cooperate with the people Chloe has arranged, admit to having a mental illness, and you'll be committed to a psychiatric facility. You'll be comfortable there. No one will bother you. We'll make sure you have the best of everything. I'm begging you as your mother. Please do this for me. If you don't, I'll swallow these pills right now and end it all. My father smashed our only family photograph. Refuse? He roared. How dare you refuse? Your brother has been a son to us for all the years you were gone. This is the least you can do for him. Even Olivia looked at me with accusing eyes. If you don't do this, she pleaded, you'll ruin Liam's life. I refused, but it was no use. I had just been accepted to a top university. My future was brighter than Liam's had ever been, but they didn't care. They weren't proud. They never once stopped to consider what would happen to me in a place like that. and the scar on my face was a constant reminder that no matter what I did, no matter what I sacrificed, in their eyes, I deserved everything I got. I clenched my fists, pushing the memories away, and looked at the resentful faces in front of me. I couldn't help but laugh. "I won't be there tomorrow," I said. "Congratulations on your engagement." They all stared at me, stunned. I turned and walked out of the living room, heading for the basement. It had started to snow. The flakes felt heavy on my shoulders, as heavy as my heart. Chloe followed me out, pressing the ring box into my hand again. I opened it. The ring inside was identical to the one Liam was wearing. "Identical rings," I said. "What exactly are you trying to say, Chloe?" Before she could answer, Liam, who had followed her out, spoke up, his voice full of false remorse. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. It's all my fault. The engagement party was so last minute. There wasn't time to have 2 sets of rings made, so we had to get a replica. But don't worry, I'll give you mine later." How pathetic. They stood there, wearing their matching rings, offering me a cheap imitation, and still had the audacity to tell me they loved me. "I'll design a new pair for us later," Chloe began, but I didn't let her finish. I just walked away. Tomorrow I would be gone. I lay in bed, unable to sleep. I gathered my few belongings. There wasn't much to pack. This basement had never been a home. All I owned was a phone, a battered journal, and my guitar. In school, I'd had books, but I'd bought them all with money from part-time jobs, and sold them as soon as I was done with them just to get by. Everyone in Chicago knew that the Hayes and the Sterlings were powerful families, with more money than they could spend in a dozen lifetimes. But I, a son of the Hayes family, had never received a single dollar of allowance, not in high school, not in college. I remember Liam and Olivia's birthday parties costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. I remember Liam bragging about a pen our parents had bought him that was worth more than a car. And I remember the cheap pen in my own hand, a constant reminder that I would never belong. But soon I would finally be free. I found an old pen and opened my journal. I'd never had any friends to talk to, so I'd gotten into the habit of writing things down. I had even chronicled my time in the hospital. After I was gone, no one would ever come down here, except maybe the cleaning crew. The journal was filled with nothing but pain and suffocation. There wasn't a single happy memory in it. I decided to leave it behind. It was a way of leaving them all behind, my parents, my sister, Chloe. In the sleepless hours of the night, I wrote them a final farewell. I knew they would probably never see it, but I wrote it anyway as a final goodbye to my past. It was late by the time I closed the journal. As I was getting ready for bed, my phone buzzed. It was Chloe, still awake, texting me, trying to explain. "Ethan, thank you for being so understanding today. I know this must be hard for you, but Liam saved my life. He was the one who donated his bone marrow to me when I had leukemia. I can't just abandon him when he's like this. He saved my life, so I have to repay him. Even if you don't agree, even if you're furious with me, I have to go through with this engagement. As for us, I'll make it up to you later. I promise." I read her text, and my eyes burned with tears. I was the one who saved her. I was the one whose health had been failing ever since the transplant. How could she believe it was Liam? Maybe it was just a last, desperate attempt, but I couldn't stop myself. I typed out a reply. "Chloe, I was the one who gave you my bone marrow. The moment I hit send, I regretted it. It was the truth, of course. I had told her so myself, right before she had me committed. She hadn't believed me then. She had just given me a look of utter disappointment and walked away. Why would this time be any different? She wouldn't believe me." I was about to delete the message when a voice note from her came through. Her tone was sharp with impatience. "That's enough, Ethan. I know you want my attention, but you don't have to lie to get it. Everyone knows it was Liam who saved me. You'll say anything to hurt him, to drive a wedge between us. Don't you ever say that to me again, or I'll lose what little respect I have left for you. Get some sleep. The engagement party is tomorrow night. Liam is even throwing a small welcome home party for you tomorrow with some friends. He's really trying to be a good brother to you. I wish you would be a little more gracious and stop going after him all the time." I didn't sleep at all that night. I had always thought Chloe was different. She was the first person to accept me. I thought she trusted me, but in the end, she was just like the rest of them. She believed every word that came out of Liam's mouth, and she wouldn't believe me, even when I told her the truth. The year she was diagnosed, she didn't tell me. I found out from Olivia. I came home immediately and got tested. When I found out I was a match, I didn't hesitate for a second. I never thought about the long-term health consequences for myself. All I wanted was for her to be healthy and safe. And now, everything I did was not only for nothing, it was all credited to him. But it didn't matter anymore. Tomorrow I would be gone. Whether she believed me or not was irrelevant. I slept until noon. I gathered up the few clothes I had left, intending to throw them out, and headed out for a meal. As I crossed the yard, I heard a commotion from the living room. It sounded like a party where everyone was busy tearing me down and singing Liam's praises. "Olivia, your brother is so rude," one of the guests was saying. "Liam throws this whole party for him, even gets him a cake, and he doesn't even bother to show his face." "Humph, see? I told you he didn't deserve it." "Forget about him," another voice said. "Let's just think of this as an early celebration for Liam and Chloe. Yeah, now that he's out of that place, it's probably better if he's not around. He'd just ruin the mood. This is such a perfect moment. Chloe, you should give Liam a kiss. Yeah, let's have a little pre-wedding celebration. The engagement party tonight will be so stuffy with all the old people around. Let's have some fun now while we can. Yeah, kiss, kiss." Amid the boisterous cheering, Chloe was the first to notice me standing there. She didn't look happy to see me, but she started walking in my direction anyway. The guests started whispering amongst themselves again, this time in French. "Chloe is such a saint, having to deal with him. I know, right? We wait for him all morning, and he finally shows up right as Chloe and Liam are about to kiss. So shameless. He obviously did it on purpose." Of course it was on purpose. Everyone knows he used to be obsessed with her. But a rapist like him, he doesn't deserve someone like Chloe. Liam caught up to Chloe, stepping between us. "Chloe, please," he said, his voice a pathetic whine. "Don't embarrass me in front of everyone. They're all waiting. It's just a kiss. It doesn't mean anything. I'm sure Ethan won't mind." Chloe stopped, and when Liam wrapped his arm around her waist, pulled her close, and kissed her, she didn't push him away. I turned and walked away, the sound of their cheering friends ringing in my ears. My departure was scheduled for 8 o'clock that evening, so I still had some time to kill. I went to the little restaurant in Old Town for one last meal, then walked through the snow to a rooftop overlooking Lincoln Park, watching the city lights come on as the wind whipped around me. It was a shame it was still light out. The view was much better at night. In the distance, the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier turned, just as it always did. For a moment, I was transported back in time, to a night when Chloe and I had ridden that wheel together, and come to this very rooftop to look at the stars. I sat there until 6, when I got another text from Chloe. "Ethan, please just wait for me. I can't abandon Liam now. Please try to understand. Once I get him through this, once he's stable, we can be together. I promise." I typed out a reply, "Chloe, there will never be a..." She didn't want me to make a scene, so I granted her that one last wish. I didn't send the message. I walked back down through the snow, my heart growing colder with every step. The sky exploded with fireworks, the prelude to their engagement party. I went to Navy Pier and rode the Ferris wheel alone. Just like that night long ago, I could see the whole city spread out below me, the fireworks and the stars. It was beautiful, but this time, I was alone, my only companion the phone that brought me nothing but pain. As the wheel reached its apex, I took out my phone, intending to take a picture of the view. But then I made the mistake of opening Facebook. Liam had posted a photo of himself in an expensive suit, his arm around a stunningly dressed Chloe, their faces close together. The caption read, "To have and to hold, from this day forward." Olivia had posted a picture of them holding hands as they greeted their guests. "To the most handsome brother and the most beautiful bride-to-be," she wrote, "wishing you a lifetime of happiness." My parents had posted a photo too, offering their own blessings. I put my phone away without taking a picture. I just silently wiped the tears from my eyes and waited for the ride to end. I checked the time. It was almost 8. I didn't linger, just hailed a cab and went back to the house. Usually at this hour, the house would be full of life, the family eating or talking in the living room. Tonight, it was empty. Even the staff was gone. I took a shower, put on the new clothes I'd bought that day, grabbed my bag, and left without a backward glance. At the designated meeting point, an unmarked vehicle was waiting for me. As we drove through downtown, I saw the hotel where the engagement party was being held. On the massive screen outside, a live feed showed Chloe and Liam, holding hands, exchanging vows, surrounded by their smiling friends and family. They both looked at each other with what seemed to be genuine love in their eyes. My parents were beaming. Olivia was ecstatic. Everyone was celebrating. I watched the screen for a moment and silently wished them a happy engagement. Then I turned away and didn't look back. From that day forward, the Hayes family of Chicago and everything associated with them would have nothing to do with me. After the formalities of the engagement party were over, Chloe looked for Ethan, but he was nowhere to be found. A strange, unsettling feeling crept over her, a feeling that she was about to lose something irreplaceable. Liam was already drunk, and she was growing annoyed. She frowned and dialed Ethan's number. She tried once, twice, 10 times. The line was busy. She suddenly realized with a jolt that he had blocked her. How could that be? A sick feeling settled in Chloe's stomach. She clutched her phone and went to find Olivia. Up until that moment, she had been telling herself that everything would be fine. Ethan was so understanding. He loved her so much. He would forgive her. After this was over, she would keep her distance from Liam. She would never let Ethan be hurt again. She had planned to go to him the moment the ceremony was over, but Liam had insisted she stay and greet the guests with him. He had looked at her with such sad, pleading eyes, and she hadn't had the heart to say no. Just moments before, she had been relieved that the ceremony had gone off without a hitch. But now, unable to reach Ethan, she was starting to panic, her composure as the guest of honor completely gone. Olivia was drinking with a group of friends, complaining loudly. "Where did you hear that nonsense? Chloe is in love with my brother Liam. Ethan is just a bitter, angry clown. We can't stand him. It would be better for everyone if he just disappeared and left us alone." Hearing this only made Chloe more agitated. "Olivia," she snapped, "Ethan is your brother. How can you say that?" She managed to restrain herself from making a scene and pulled a stunned Olivia into a quiet corner. "Olivia, call your brother for me. He's blocked my number, and I can't get a hold of him. I'm worried." Olivia stared at her, her shock turning to resentment. "Chloe, it's your engagement party. To Liam, and you're yelling at me because of Ethan? That's not right. He's just trying to get a reaction out of you. Ignore him. Don't let him ruin such a perfect day." Normally, Chloe might have let it go, but tonight, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. "Olivia," she said, her voice cold, "no matter what you think of him, Ethan is your brother. You will show him some respect." Olivia stared at her, aghast. "Chloe, that's not fair. Why should I respect that monster? He's the one who doesn't treat us like family." "Fine, if you're so worried, I'll call him Happy now." "You have no right to call him that, Olivia," Chloe shot back, her patience wearing thin. "Have you forgotten that he got that scar saving your life? If he didn't think of you as family, would he have thrown himself in front of a car for you?" Olivia muttered unhappily as she dialed. "I hate it when you defend him like this. It would break Liam's heart if he heard you. The line's busy." "No way. That psycho blocked me too." A fresh wave of panic washed over Chloe. The feeling of dread intensified. "I know what it is," Olivia said suddenly. "He must have seen the pictures we all posted on Facebook. He's jealous. This is just another one of his pathetic little games to get our attention." Chloe's heart was pounding. She wished she could be with Ethan right now. The thought that she couldn't reach him, that he might be gone for good, filled her with a terrible anxiety. "What pictures?" Olivia showed her the Facebook posts. "See? Don't worry, Chloe. He's fine. He was liking posts just 3 hours ago. He's probably just at home, sulking in the basement." Just then, her parents came over. "Liam is looking for you, dear," her mother said. "You shouldn't leave him all alone. Go and keep him company." Chloe didn't move. Olivia sighed. "Go be with Liam. He'll be so embarrassed if you're not there. You're worried about Ethan, right? I'll go back to the house and get him. The ceremony's over. I'll keep an eye on him. It'll be fine." The color returned to Chloe's face. "Don't bring him here. It will only upset him more. I had the kitchen pack up some food for him. Take it back to the house and tell him I'll be there after the party is over. We'll celebrate his birthday, and I'll take him to pick out a gift tomorrow." Olivia, though clearly annoyed, just nodded. "Birthday?" she asked, confused. "When is Ethan's birthday? I don't remember him ever mentioning it." Mr. and Mrs. Hayes looked at Chloe, also waiting for an answer. Chloe didn't know why, but for the first time, she felt a pang of sadness for Ethan. These people were his family, and they didn't even know his birthday. He must have been so disappointed, so hurt, all those years. A wave of irritation washed over Chloe, and her voice took on a mocking edge. "You're his parents. You're his sister. Don't you know his birthday is the same day as Liam's?" "Oh, that's right," she added, looking at Mrs. Hayes. "You're his mother. Of course you know. You just don't care. I suddenly feel so sorry for him. After I've done this one last thing for your precious adopted son, I'm going to be with Ethan, and I'm going to make up for everything he's been through." The more she spoke, the worse she felt. She turned and walked away, forcing herself to push Ethan to the back of her mind and focus on the party. But no matter how hard she tried to pretend, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. 40 minutes passed. Olivia should have been at the house by now. But when Chloe texted to ask if she had found Ethan, she got no reply. Her heart began to pound again, a knot of anxiety tightening in her stomach. She wished the party would just end. She had to get to Ethan as soon as possible. At the Hayes estate, Olivia searched every room on the upper floors, her frustration mounting with each empty room she checked. She called his name, but there was no answer. Finally, she gave up and in a fit of pique, threw the food Chloe had sent into the trash. "This is so annoying," she muttered to herself. "That damn Ethan really thinks he's so important. I'm not going to wait on him hand and foot. He's probably out messing around somewhere. But where would he even go? He doesn't have any friends in Chicago. Maybe one of those bars he plays at." Another text from Chloe came through, and with a sigh of frustration, Olivia got in her car and drove to the bar where she'd seen Ethan before. But he wasn't there. Just as she was about to leave, the bartender called out to her. "Miss Hayes, are you looking for Ethan?" Olivia nodded, surprised. "How do you know who I am?" She wondered if Ethan had been going around, bragging about being a Hayes. The thought of him telling people he was her brother filled her with a familiar sense of disgust. "Miss Hayes, Ethan hasn't been in for a couple of days," the man said. "I own the place. He used to play here pretty regularly. We got to know each other a bit. He told me he had a beautiful younger sister. He said he was saving up to buy you some jewelry. The last few days, he was working to get his guitar fixed. He earned enough yesterday, but he didn't come in today. He told me he wouldn't be coming back. I just figured his little experiment with the simple life was over. I never expected to see you here looking for him." As she left the bar, Olivia was filled with a strange, unsettling feeling. She couldn't put her finger on it, but it made her angry. So Ethan hadn't been wasting his time. He had been working. But why would a Hayes need to work? Her parents had always made sure he got his allowance. He couldn't possibly be broke. On the drive home, other memories started to surface. Ethan had always worn simple, inexpensive clothes, and he'd never had very many of them. He rarely ate with the family. She and Liam had a fleet of cars at their disposal, but Ethan didn't even have one. Was it possible he was working because he had no money? That couldn't be right. The questions swirled in her mind, making her more and more agitated. She called the family's accountant and demanded to know how much money had been transferred to Ethan's account over the years. "Miss Hayes," the accountant replied, "the family has never transferred any money to Mr. Ethan's account." The words hit her like a physical blow. It had to be some kind of sick joke. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "What? That's impossible. You must be mistaken. Check again. Go to the office right now if you have to. I want a detailed report of all transfers to Ethan's account for the past 10 years, and I want it in half an hour." The accountant's voice was calm and steady. "Miss Hayes, I have personally handled the family's finances for all of those years. I can assure you, not a single dollar has ever been sent to Mr. Ethan. The funds were originally allocated for him, but Mr. Liam requested they be redirected to his own account for a business venture, with Mr. and Mrs. Hayes' approval. So the money has always gone to him." After she hung up, Olivia was more confused than ever. She knew how much she and Liam got each month. It was more than enough to support their extravagant lifestyles. And Liam hadn't started any business. Why would he need Ethan's money too? So Ethan had been working because he had no money? Had he paid his own way through college? Olivia couldn't think about anything else. She called one of the maids and asked where Ethan's room was. She had to find him tonight and ask him why he had never said anything. She had accused him of being lazy, of wasting his time, and he had never once defended himself. What had he been thinking? "Mr. Ethan has always lived in the basement," the maid replied. "He should be down there now, sleeping." Olivia was stunned into silence. When she finally found her voice, it was choked with rage. "What? Say that again. How could Ethan be living in the basement? He's a Hayes. When did this happen?" The maid sounded confused. "Miss, he's always lived in the basement. He's been there for over a decade, ever since he came back. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes said that his room had been given to Mr. Liam and that he should just find somewhere else to stay. We servants don't have keys to the other rooms, and they never gave him one, so he moved into the basement." When Olivia opened the basement door, she was met with a scene of utter squalor. The large space was damp and cold, cluttered with junk like a landfill. She had never known it looked like this. She couldn't imagine how her brother had managed to live in such a place for over a decade without saying a word. The further she walked into the gloom, the sicker she felt. In the corner was a makeshift bed, constructed from old oil drums and wooden planks, a thin mattress and a neatly folded blanket on top. There was nothing else. A closet, a bathroom, they would have been unimaginable luxuries down here. Her eyes filled with tears. She found a battered notebook on a small stool under the bed. There was also a torn photograph and a medical document, a bone marrow donation report. Olivia couldn't believe it. A Hayes, her own brother, had been living like this. She couldn't bring herself to open the journal. The donation report was devastating enough. She stumbled out of the basement, clutching the items to her chest, and tried to call Ethan again. The line was still busy. He had blocked all of them. How could this be? Liam had said he was the one who donated his bone marrow to Chloe. How could it have been Ethan? Why was Ethan living in the basement? Why had he never gotten any money? Why had it all gone to Liam? Why hadn't Ethan said anything? And why had Liam kept it a secret? Olivia spent the rest of the night in a state of turmoil. At 4 in the morning, her parents, Liam and Chloe, finally returned. The moment Chloe walked in the door, she started looking around. "Where's your brother?" she asked Olivia, her voice sharp with anxiety. "Isn't he home? Why didn't you find him?" It was only then that Chloe noticed that Olivia's eyes were red and swollen. "Ethan, Olivia stammered, unable to get the words out. "What about him? Tell me," Chloe demanded, shaking her. Just then, the journal and the donation report fell from Olivia's arms. Chloe bent to pick them up, but when she saw the name on the report, she sank to the floor in disbelief, her eyes fixed on the name, Ethan Hayes. Olivia ignored her and ran to her parents. "Mom, Dad, call Ethan. Did he block you too? What are you making such a fuss about?" her mother said, annoyed. "If he's not back, he's not back. He's a grown man. He can take care of himself. You've been up all night. Go to bed. Don't let him ruin your mood." But she took out her phone anyway. "I'd like to see him try to block his own mother." A moment later, the automated message played, and her face fell. "The number you have dialed is unavailable. He actually blocked us," Mr. Hayes said in disbelief. He tried calling from his own phone with the same result. He was about to launch into an angry tirade when Chloe staggered to her feet, the donation report clutched in her hand. She slapped Liam across the face, her voice like ice. "You told me you were the one who donated your bone marrow to me. Why does this say it was Ethan?" The slap and the question stunned Mr. and Mrs. Hayes into silence. Mrs. Hayes was the first to recover. She rushed to Liam's side, shielding him. "What are you doing? What do you mean Ethan donated it? It was Liam who saved you." Chloe snatched the report from the floor and thrust it at Mrs. Hayes. "Look at it. It's right here in black and white, with the hospital's official seal. Are you still so sure it was Liam?" As Mrs. Hayes stared at the document, Liam began his usual pathetic act. "Chloe, you must be misunderstanding something. That report doesn't prove anything." Chloe's voice was a furious roar. "Shut up. Every time it's the same thing. You just stand there and play the victim. Who are you trying to fool with that act? If you won't tell me the truth, I'll go to the hospital and find out for myself." Now I understand why Ethan said it again yesterday, that he was the one who donated his marrow. I always believed you without question, but now I have to wonder if you're the one who's been lying to me all these years. With that, Chloe turned and stormed out of the house. No one tried to stop her. Olivia finally reacted, turning to a teary-eyed Liam. "Tell me," she said, her voice low and dangerous. "You didn't tell the accountant to stop sending Ethan his allowance, did you? You didn't take his money for yourself, did you?" Liam started to panic, shaking his head frantically. "Olivia, what are you talking about? I would never do something like that." But just then, the family accountant arrived, holding a thick file. "Miss Hayes," he said, "here is the detailed report you requested." Liam reached for the file, but Mr. Hayes snatched it away. Olivia saw the numbers on the page, and tears of rage streamed down her face. "Liam, what part of you is even real?" she screamed hysterically. "All these years, you've played the innocent victim, telling Mom and Dad that they gave Ethan plenty of money, that he was the one who hated you for no reason. But that was all a lie, wasn't it? You not only stole his allowance every month, you even took credit for the bone marrow he gave to Chloe. Don't you look at me like that. I didn't want to believe it either, but I called the hospital. The donor was Ethan, and I've also found out about all the mistresses you've been keeping with our family's money. I have the pictures, the receipts, everything, right here on my phone. How long are you going to keep lying?" A fresh tear fell with every word she spoke, her entire body trembling on the verge of collapse. Her parents, who had been staring in stunned silence, slowly began to process the information in the report and on Olivia's phone. Liam, however, just stood there, shaking. "What are you talking about?" he whimpered. "I don't understand." Mr. Hayes lunged forward and punched Liam, sending him staggering. He grabbed his son by the collar, his face a mask of fury. "Liam, you've been hurting innocent girls? After everything your mother and I have given you, is this how you repay us?" Mrs. Hayes, who had been swaying on her feet, staring at the documents in disbelief, rushed forward to protect her precious son. "Honey, don't!" she cried, pulling at her husband's arm. "There must be some mistake. Let him go. We can sort this out." But before she could finish, Chloe stormed back into the room. "How else do you want to sort this out, Mrs. Hayes?" she demanded. "You've spent all these years protecting your adopted son, ignoring your real son. Now the truth is staring you in the face, and you still refuse to see it. Then take a look at this. I just got it from the psychiatric facility." Your son, Ethan, was beaten and tortured for years in that place. And the one pulling the strings, the one who arranged it all, was your precious Liam. He was the one who told them to teach Ethan a lesson, to torture him until he really did go insane. And he was the one who told them to tell Ethan that you, his own mother, were the one who gave the order. Mrs. Hayes took the papers with a trembling hand, her eyes scanning the page in disbelief. Tears streamed down her face. "Impossible," she whispered. "My Liam, he's always been so kind, so good. He's my pride and joy. He could never be so cruel." Mr. Hayes collapsed to the floor, staring at the documents in horror. "Why?" he roared, his voice cracking. "Liam, you ungrateful wretch. Tell me why you did this. I was so proud of you. Your mother and I loved you more than our own son. All the love we never gave him, we gave to you. When you committed that horrible crime, we made our own son take the fall for you. We gave you everything. Why did you still have to be so cruel to the son we never loved? Are you even human? Do you have any shred of decency in you?" Olivia was sobbing now, her voice thick with rage. "You two-faced hypocrite, Liam. You make me sick. We were wrong. We were all so wrong about Ethan. How much pain must we have caused him for him to just leave like that, without a word, leaving nothing behind but a torn-up journal? We were the only family he had in the world. Where could he have gone?" Liam looked at their accusing faces and began to laugh, a wild, unhinged sound. "Why are you all blaming me? Don't you know why I did it? Don't you know your own part in this? You're the ones who made me who I am, by turning a blind eye to everything I did. I wanted Ethan to know that as long as I was around, his family, his fiancée, would never love him. I wanted him to spend his entire life as a pathetic, unloved loser. And now you all stand here and blame me? Are you blameless in this? If I was the one holding the knife, you were the ones who sharpened it for me. The pain I caused him was nothing compared to the agony you all put him through. So there, I admit it. I'm an inhuman monster. Are you happy now? People will always whisper behind my back that I'm just the adopted son. But so what? At least I've had a better life than your real son. Your precious, biological son has lived a life of pure misery. And so what if he was the one who donated the marrow? Chloe, you loved him, not me. Why should he have done that for you? You're no better than the rest of them. You think you didn't hurt him? You never believed him either. You probably hurt him the most of all." Before Liam could finish, Chloe, in a blind rage, snatched the fruit knife from the floor and plunged it into his chest, again and again. Blood sprayed across her dress. "You bastard," she screamed. "You bastard. You deserve to die. You deserve to die." The others finally snapped out of their shock and rushed to pull her away. For the second time in as many days, the sound of an ambulance siren filled the night at the Hayes estate. Liam survived, but just barely. He was committed to a psychiatric facility. Mrs. Hayes had a complete breakdown. Overnight, she lost her mind, recognizing no one, weeping and apologizing to every person she saw. Mr. Hayes seemed to age decades overnight, his hair turning gray, his body frail. Only Olivia and Chloe were left to wrestle with their guilt and regret, spending every day searching for any trace of Ethan. But it was as if he had vanished from the face of the earth. No matter how much money they spent, how many people they hired, they found nothing. 2 years passed, then 5, then 10. A lot can happen in 10 years. Liam died in the institution. Mrs. Hayes, in a moment of lucidity, slipped away from her caretakers, wandered into the street, and was killed by a passing car. Mr. Hayes, unable to bear the weight of it all, suffered a massive stroke that left him paralyzed and bedridden. The burden of running Hayes Industries fell to Olivia. In 10 years, the once mighty corporation, under her inexperienced leadership, was on the verge of collapse. The Sterlings and the Hayes, once inseparable, became estranged. For 10 years, Chloe divided her time between running her family's company, tormenting Liam in the institution, and pouring all her resources into the search for Ethan. Every day was a fresh agony. When Ethan was there, she had taken for granted that he would always be there, that he would always love her. It was only after he was truly gone that she realized that all the money and power in the world couldn't bring him back. Her Ethan was gone forever. 12 years passed. When Ethan Hayes set foot in Chicago again, the painful, suffocating past that had once consumed him felt like a distant, half-remembered dream. He was only back to receive an award. After the ceremony, he was scheduled to leave for a new assignment on a remote research vessel in the South Pacific. His future was there in his work. All he wanted now was to make a meaningful contribution to his country, to society. He never expected to run into anyone from his past, especially not like this. As he was leaving the ballroom, he saw 2 familiar figures in the distance, locked in a heated argument. It was Olivia pleading with Chloe. "Chloe, please, I'm begging you, have mercy. let Hayes Industries go. The company is barely staying afloat. I'm only trying to keep it from going under so that I can give it to Ethan when he comes back. It was Dad's life's work. I can't let it be destroyed. I know Ethan will come back." Before she could finish, Chloe saw me. She stumbled as she ran, and just as I was turning to leave, she threw her arms around me from behind, holding on tight. "Ethan, Ethan, you're finally back. I've been looking for you for so long. I've been waiting for you for so long." I pushed her away firmly, my expression cold and distant. Tears streamed down her face. She bit her lip, whispering over and over, "I'm sorry. Ethan, I'm so sorry." Olivia ran over, her own eyes red with tears, her body shaking with emotion. "Ethan, oh Ethan, you're finally back. Please come and see Dad. We have so much to tell you." I stepped back, putting more distance between us, and looked at them calmly. I knew everything that had happened to them over the years. None of it had stirred the slightest emotion in me. Even now, as the two women I had once loved more than life itself stood before me, sobbing and apologizing, I felt nothing. I looked at them, my voice cold and even. "Excuse me, but please do not disturb my life any further. In this world, not every 'I'm sorry' deserves and it's okay." They both collapsed to their knees, their apologies turning into desperate pleas. "I'm sorry. Ethan, you don't have to forgive me, but please, don't disappear again," Chloe begged. "I've spent every day for the past 12 years in agony. I can't bear to lose you again." "Ethan, we know we were wrong," Olivia cried. "Mom was consumed by guilt until the day she died, and that bastard got what he deserved. He died horribly. We're so sorry, Ethan. So sorry. It was all our fault. What can we do to make you forgive us?" A cold smile touched my lips. "Ask yourselves this," I said, my voice low and clear. "If I had done to you what you did to me, would you be able to forgive me? For 10 years in that hospital, I dreamed of the day I would be free of you all. Now I am. My life is finally my own. If you try to interfere with it again, I will not be merciful." I turned and walked away without another word. They scrambled to their feet, stumbling after me. Just then, my assistant stepped in front of them, blocking their path. Her face was a cold mask. "Miss Sterling, Miss Hayes," she said, her voice sharp, "I'm aware of your history with my supervisor, and even as an outsider, I can see that you don't deserve his forgiveness. How dare you continue to harass him? And let me give you a piece of advice. He is not the same man you once knew. He is now under the protection of the United States government. His time is extremely valuable, and he shouldn't have to waste a single second of it on people like you. And if you continue to harass him against his wishes, you might want to consider whether your two struggling companies can afford to go up against the full weight of the federal government. Even if you don't care about yourselves, you should think of your families. Do not contact him again. He does not want to see you. If you truly wish to atone for what you've done, spend the rest of your lives in repentance. Perhaps if you were to live through what he has lived through, you would finally understand what it means to leave someone in peace." When my assistant caught up to me, the street behind us was silent. The world was silent. I went straight to the airport, with no desire to spend another moment in that suffocating city. The storm had passed, but there was nothing left for me there. My life was meant to be an open road, not a cage built of old heartaches and broken promises.